Hey guys, this is Lappy bringing you a warrior guide for World vs. World in GvG as of April 3rd, 2017. Alright, so first we're going to go into gear and sigils and runes. So we're going to be running full Berserker gear with Greatsword Hammer. Greatsword is going to have Strength and Hydromancy, and Hammer is going to have Absorption and Energy. The runes are going to be Pack, Strength, and Scholar are also viable, but generally the Fury from pack runes is really good in a party situation if you don't have 100% Fury uptime. But if your party already does, you can run those other two runes. Alright, next we're going to go into traits. First is going to be, it's going to be Discipline, Defense, Berserker. You're going to take Warrior Sprint. It works well with Rush, Whirlwind, and your Hammer ability to get out of immobs and get out of wall bombs and stuff like that. Next we're going to take Destruction of the Empowered. It's a 3% damage per boon on your target. Generally in this meta there's a lot of boons, so you're going to get quite a bit of plus damage, probably about 12%, maybe 15 or 18. Brawler's Recovery is also a good option if you don't have Condi Clear, or if your group is messing up on resistance or something like that. Next we're going to be taking Burst Mastery. It restores Adrenaline on use, and because of the low cooldown of stuff like Arc Divider and Rupturing Smash, this will be incredibly good to keep restoring your Adrenaline while also giving you a 7% damage increase. Next in defense, we're going to be taking Dodged March. Generally the regen doesn't really matter too much, but the minus Condi duration is pretty nice, with getting like Chill and Cripple off of you, which can really hurt you, especially Chill, because you rely on your cooldowns to stay alive. Next we have Endure Pain. Endure Pain is, this trait Endure Pain is incredibly good. Make sure to not pop it with your normal Endure Pain as well, but when you drop below 50% you don't take any damage for 4 seconds. It will save your life, and it's part of the reason why you can run full Berserker in the first place. Next you're going to have Cleansing Ire. Cleansing Ire removes Condis obviously on, like, on Berserker use, so you want to use that to clear Condis. It's also incredibly good damage increase because it gives you tons of adrenaline in large scale fights because you're taking lots of small hits of damage. And over a long fight it will actually give you more damage than the entire strength line put together. So it's incredibly good. Next in the Berserker line we're going to be taking Smash Baller for the reduction on burst skills. Then we're going to be taking Blood Reaction for the extra damage percent increase while in Berserker. It's incredibly good, but if you're having problems surviving you can take Dead or Alive, which is a good heal and keeps you from dying randomly. Next, taking Eternal Champion. It's stability on Pulse, and you gain Might when you break out of stun. Another option is Bloody Roar if you're not getting stunned and you're in a double stab party, and you feel like you don't need the stability. It's incredibly good, the taunt is good, but generally Eternal Champion is a safer option. Oh, I forgot to mention minor traits. So Versatile Rage gives you 5 Adrenaline Weapon Swap. It's good for when you're comboing people, like when you go into Hammer and then you swap to Greatsword for more damage. Fast Hands, Weapon Swap, incredibly good. Allows you to burst people a lot harder by just weapon swapping more often and using your Berserk skills. Versatile Power reduces the cooldown on burst skills, which is also incredibly powerful. Thick Skin, Toughness, above 75%. This helps a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal, so I'd pretty much ignore it. Adrenal Health is an insane heal. It's probably one of the best minors ever. So, and you'll have this going all the time just using Berserk skills. Next is Spiked Armor, gives you Retail and Toughness when you have Retail. It's a decent amount of toughness. Usually with this plus this, you and the food that you're going to run, you're going to have about like 2,800 armor. So you're decently tanky even in full Zerk gear. Next you have Always Angry. It's just a huge damage increase. Well, not a huge. It's a minor damage increase, 7%. And you have Fatal Frenzy, which gives you Fury, Quickness, and Swiftness. The Quickness is incredibly good for bursting people down within that 3 seconds. Anyway, that's it for the traits. Alright, so we're going to go to weapon skills and utilities now. So first we have 100 Blades. It hits 9 times, and the first 8 hits deal a mediocre amount of damage, and the final hit deals a pretty decent amount. How you're going to want to use this ability is just using it on down players and people who are stunned and immobed and can't move. Generally, if you try and use this on a clump, people will move away and you'll do 2,000 damage, and you'll basically have cast an auto attack for no reason. On downs, the pressure is pretty crazy. You can generally 100 Blades for like 10, 12k, and that'll be hitting the people trying to res them as well. And you can generally get multiple downs. And you can combo this off with other abilities like going Hammer Stun into Arc Divider into 100 Blades, and you can get off quite a bit of damage on downs. Next is Whirlwind. You whirl through targets, dealing damage, and you evade during that time for 3/4 of a second. It also clears a mob with your trait, which is incredibly nice. The skill is a very good survivability skill for moving through with your commander through blobs and whatever. So you can whirlwind through, evade damage, deal damage of your own. It's just an incredibly good survivability tool. Next you have Blade Trail. You can throw this on people. It generally does a pretty decent amount of damage if you get to hit twice, and cripple is much better than most people give it credit for. It's a nice little range ability to chip at your target or just finish them if they're like 2000 HP or something. Next is Rush. It's a 1200 range charge. It deals quite a bit of damage. It removes a mob. It can bug out sometimes and it's kind of stupid, but when it lands it can hit for like 5, 6, 7k. It's pretty good burst and you can get on your target really easily using this ability. Next we have Fierce Blow. This skill actually hits like a truck. I've seen it hit for like 7k before, so generally you can use this on downs or on your targets or people who are mobbed or whatever. It gives out weakness, and if you use it on a down, you can hit the people rezzing, they'll have weakness, they won't hit as hard, whatever. Won't have as much endurance regeneration. It's a really good ability, and I feel like it's kind of underused. Next we have Hammer Shock. Hammer Shock is an AoE ability that deals a pretty decent amount of damage, and again, AoE cripple. Cripple's really good. I think it's an underrated condition. Next we have Staggering Blow. Staggering Blow will... your character will spin around in a circle, knocking people away. It's incredibly good on downs if they're trying to res. You can knock them away from the res, and that's really about it. Next you have Backbreaker. Backbreaker is a single target knockdown that deals a pretty large amount of damage. Generally you use this on a single target. They don't have stability like a Necro or something. Hit them for like 5k. It's an incredibly good burst ability. Next you have Berserk skills. First you have Berserk, which when you're at full adrenaline, you can go into Berserk mode. It changes your Berserk abilities. They generally deal more damage, have better effects on a much, much lower cooldown. It's what allows this build to deal so much damage in the first place. So your first burst skill is Earth Shaker. It's AoE stun, 2 seconds, deals decent amount of damage, removes a mob, and it's a blast finisher. It's alright. And then when you go into Berserk mode, you got Rupturing Smash. Rupturing Smash actually deals more damage than Arc Divider when your target's above 50% HP, so it's an incredibly good burst ability to start out on your target. It throws out an AoE mob. The rest is the same as Earthshaker. It's a blast finisher. It removes condies, it removes a mob, etc., etc. Next you have Arcing Slice. Arcing Slice deals more damage below 50% HP of your target, and it gives Fury. It generally you use this when you're out of Berserk mode. You don't have Fury. Maybe your party just doesn't have any Fury uptime. No one has pack runes, whatever. And then in Berserk mode you get Arc Divider. Arc Divider again deals more damage below 50% HP and it deals a lot of damage below 50% HP. Generally you can spike people, hit for like 10k. Sometimes with this ability it clears condies. It's on a 2.5 second cooldown just like Rupturing Smash. Incredibly good ability to spam and combo with your hammer abilities and your other greatsword abilities, and you can generally get quite a bit of downs. Next we're going into utilities. Healing Signet it's a passive heal of 384 per second. If you use it you get resistance. It's like your final line against Epidemic and other condi things, because the resistance can save your life, but your Revenants and your Berserker stand should be able to handle most of your resistance, and you want to keep this always ticking to keep yourself alive. Next you have Endure Pain. 4 seconds, you can't take any damage, it breaks stun, incredibly good ability. It has a really long cooldown, 60 seconds. See, a lot of people really misuse this ability. You want to use it when you're about to take a lot of damage. A lot of people just click it, and then they take no damage, and it's complete waste, and they die like 20 seconds later, because they needed Endure Pain then. Anyway, next thing is Balance Stance. 40-second cooldown, Pulsing Stability. I forgot to mention this with the Eternal Champion as well, but Pulsing Stab is really good against all the Boon Rip and Necros that are currently inside of World. So generally, like, Doliac Signet is decent, especially against power comps. But if your stab's getting stripped a lot, I think Balance Stance is much better. Next we have Berserker Stance. You gain Adrenaline every 2 seconds. It's like every 3 seconds it's pulsing resistance. It's incredibly good. It deals with Epidemic and a lot of the condi stuff. And it's a great personal survivability tool. Again, people misuse this. They use it when they have like 1 stack of burning and bleeding on them, and then they don't have it when they get epied and they die, and then they complain about epi. So make sure you're using this when you actually have a lot of condies and your rev doesn't already give you resistance. Alright, so next we got Headbutt. Headbutt deals a lot of damage. It gives you full adrenaline. It stuns your target for 3 seconds. It breaks stun. It's an incredibly good ability. It's a lot of damage. It enables a lot of burst combos. Headbutt, Arc Divider, Rush, 100 Blades. You know, you go into Hammer. Headbutt, Rupturing Smash, Arc Divider, 100 Blades, all these different combos, and it enables you to do it very quickly. It's a lot of burst damage. It crits for like 6, 7k. What else could you really want? Alright, so for alternatives, you can run Banner Battle Standard. It reses 5 people on use, but it has an incredibly long cooldown of 240 seconds. Generally, you use this if you're in like a ranged pirate shipy kind of fight, or if you feel like you can't do effective damage and you just want to be a support bot, I guess. But generally, I like Headbutt a lot more, but Banner's a decent choice as well. If you're up against a full Connie comp, you can take away Endure Pain, throw on Wild Blow. Wild Blow is incredibly good at punting downs away from the damage. So people can like blink stomp them, or your group can go over and kill them. But generally the skill's only used in like very small fights, like 15s and 20s. And even then, it's very rare unless you're fighting like a full Connie comp. Next, you have Signet of Stamina, clears all Condies, incredibly good against Epidemic. Shake It Off is a decent Condi clear, 2 Condies to your entire party. For Great Justice is also another option. Might, Fury, pretty decent. Online Mark actually reveals the target, which is really good in 15s and 20s. Especially if you're going on a single target and they're getting stealth a lot, you can reveal it. Delay X Signet is another stab if you're getting stunned a lot. Signet of Might makes you unblockable. Really good against Revenants. Like, Revenants are really hard to kill for warriors because it seems like they're blocking half the time. And Guardians too, and you can use this to basically burst them down if you can take the slot. But generally, I'd always put Endure Pain on unless you're really confident you can survive without it. And that is it for traits and utilities. Next, we're going to go into food and just general usage. So for food, you're going to want to run Furious Sharpening Stones and bowl of lemongrass miso pasta for the damage reduction and the toughness on both these and the ferocity on your toughness. This is an incredibly good sharpening stone, borderline broken. Also, if you're up against Connie comps, you can run the plus vitality versions of both food. It's incredibly good, and if you're not having any problems with survivability, you can run fried golden dumplings for the extra might duration if your party doesn't already have 25 might. One thing I would recommend doing is downloading Arc DPS and using that to see the uptime you generally have in your party. Like right here you have might, fury, quickness, alacrity, and all this other kind of stuff like protection. You can see the uptime that you're having, and that is incredibly good for just being able to see what you need. You know, like if you want to change out pack runes for something else, if you already have permanent fury, or if you want to change out the strain sigil for something else, if you have permanent might, and you know, stuff like that. Anyway, on to general usage. Alright, so for general usage, the first thing you want to do is almost always take a target. You want your damage to be focused so you actually get it down and you can generate more downs off of that down. It's incredibly important to at least take a target at the start of the fight to land your headbutt and stuff like that. I see a lot of warriors just randomly spamming their abilities and not focusing it on a single group of people or one person. And because of that, they don't generate any downs and they're basically being useless. Another thing is to use your stances wisely and use them conservatively. Normally you use your weapon skills very aggressively and spammy, but it's the complete opposite with your stances. But a lot of people misuse the stances and they use it just like the weapon skills, and because of that they get themselves killed or they can't be as effective. Because if you have an Endure Pain and they have a ton of downs, but you're going to get well bombed if you stand on there, you can just press Endure Pain if you have it up and then just bomb on it. But if you used it randomly at some earlier point, you can't do something like that. Also, using your stab somewhat aggressively to get kills is a good idea, but you still shouldn't just use it completely randomly for no reason. Outside of that, just doing your burst combos correctly, like getting off burst, like chaining your abilities on the target, making sure it gets down, is really what your job is. If you're not dealing a lot of damage, you're not doing your job as a warrior. Anyway, I think that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Leave any feedback or any questions in the comments. I'm down for footage review if anyone would like to do something like that. And thanks for watching. Bye.